Male characters will never be as successful as female characters, not because they have bad designs or they are underpowered or because nobody wants them. No, it's simply because there aren't enough of them. Let's use Zenless Zone Zero as an example. The first premium 5-star character to release was Lighter in the second half of version 1.3. If you're somebody that wants to collect every female character and skip every male character, you had to summon on 7 banners in a row before you can skip your first male banner. But if you wanted to do the opposite, you had 7 banners to skip in order to save a truckload of summon currency. By the time Lighter released, you had enough summon currency to get him and potentially 2 or 3 extra copies depending on how lucky you were. Let's do some quick math. Ooh, scary. Let's say one character costs $100 to get. It would cost $700 to max them out, base plus 6 duplicates. By skipping a bunch of banners, you were able to get Lighter and 2 extra copies. 3 total. 700 minus 300 equals $400. That's how much you would need to spend to max him out. But if you wanted to get every female character before him, that would be 700 times 7 equals $4,900 minus, let's say, 3 copies of Zhu Yuan, the same amount of copies of Lighter we were able to get, for a grand total of $4,600 in order to max out every female character that was released before Lighter. Congratulations! You had enough free-to-play resources in order to get 3 copies of Zhu Yuan. But did you also want to get Jane Doe? Well, I hope you're okay with stealing your mom's purse because you need another $700. Did you also want Xing Yi? Well, I hope you're okay with robbing a bank because you need another $700. Did you also want Caesar? Well, I hope you're able to find a magic lamp because you need another $700. Did you also want Yanagi and Bernice and whoever else I'm missing? Well, you better sell your soul to the devil because you need another $700. Except no, you don't. You actually need like $3,000 because in reality, that's how much it actually costs in order to max out one complete character. Let's use Wuthering Waves as another example. The last male character to release was Brant in version 2.1. Currently, we are going into 2.4 and we have one confirmed upcoming male character for the remainder of version 2. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say Yu. We currently do not know when he will release, but according to leaks, which may or may not be true, it won't be in version 2.5. So let's say the earliest he will release is in version 2.6. That means a player can save up 4/4.5 versions worth of summon currency depending on if he releases in the first or second half. Regardless of how popular he is, how good his story is, how much people like his design, how powerful he is, he simply will never make as much money as your average female character. There's just way too much free summon currency that a player can save up by the time he releases. Using the same math as earlier, players can skip 4 versions instead of Lighter's 3. So let's say players can get 4 copies of Yu. 700 minus 400 equals $300 to max him out. And that's assuming he releases in 2.6 and not a future update. Believe it or not, the male to female ratio used to be a lot more balanced back in the day. I remember playing gachas in the early to mid 2010s and their gender ratio on average was fairly balanced. And nobody complained. People simply summoned for who they wanted and skipped who they didn't. However, slowly, waifu culture became more and more prevalent. The end result being that developers saw male characters as less profitable because they didn't fit the growing waifu culture. And so they started to make less of them. Players were able to save more summon currency, which means they had to spend less money to max out male characters. Male characters were not as profitable as female characters, which reinforced the notion that male characters were not worth investing into in the mind of the developers. So they made more waifus and less husbandos, which means players were able to spend less money in order to max out husbandos, which means they were less profitable, which means the developers started to make less and less of them, and over the wheel spins. A lot of people will tell you that men simply do not belong in gacha games, that by their very nature gachas are waifu games, but history has shown that that is simply not true. Not only were men common and successful back in the day, every now and then we have a success story in the present. Zhongli, Neuvillette, Aventurine, the entirety of Love in Deep Space. The upcoming character Phanon is a very popular character that is all but guaranteed to be very profitable. Will he make as much money as Castoris? Probably not, but he will definitely be one of the most successful banners in Star Rail history. It's no secret that I like male characters and want more. Look at this beefcake! But I genuinely don't think we will ever return to the old era of an equal male to female ratio. The gacha community has become infested with a bunch of losers who send death threats and seek legal action if they don't constantly get a bunch of big titty 12-year-olds who constantly want to suck their dicks. Disgusting freaks is what I call them. The truth is that there is no grand conspiracy for why male characters don't sell. It certainly is not because they don't belong. Waifu culture and a bunch of sexless freaks ruined it for everyone. It's as simple as that. Anyways, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really enjoyed the video, become a channel member for just $5 a month. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.